What's going on, man? Sydney here. So today I wanted to talk about attractiveness. And attractiveness is basically the quality or attribute of being pleasing to one as a person or to the senses. And I also wanted to just say a quick thank you to one of my subscribers. You know who you are. You did mention that the shout outs can be a little bit annoying sometimes, but I also do want to make sure that I shout out my subs in appreciation, especially those who regularly come on my stream. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to streamline that process of doing so. I'm just going to make sure I'm not constantly shouting out everyone the moment they come in all the time. I'm going to say a quick hi to all the guys that have just jumped in, then I'm going to get straight into what I got to say. So thanks for joining in, Uncle Baldy, Bullets, Motor Frozes, God Bother Aboski, whatever might work, and MGTOW Wolf. So I watched a very interesting video today by OK Xiaomi and NYC. Now I watched a very interesting video this morning by Dr. Jordan Peterson. And this particular gentleman, as you know, is very, very articulate. He's very intelligent, and he knows what's going on. Just, you know, just in general, right? He's very aware about him, and he talked about attractiveness, but he did it in a very roundabout kind of way. And you know, we all know that there's a certain group of men that are universally appealing to women and can basically just walk out on the street and walk home with a woman on his arm, right? We know this. We've seen it, we've witnessed it. Some of us have been the guy that goes home empty-handed. Some of us have been the guy that goes home with a girl on our arm.
In 3 kilometers, take the Horsley Drive exit towards Horsley Park, Wetherill Park. There we go.
Sorry, that GPS kills me every time. Even if I turn my media volume down all the way, it has its own independent volume. It's a nightmare. And he was talking about how agreeable people tend to do less well financially because they're more likely to just agree with what they're offered in terms of pay. They don't negotiate. They don't ask for raises. They don't say, well, I'm doing all this extra work, so I want this. I know that you said that this was the pay, but I'm doing more than what the pay requires. So therefore, I want what's due to me, right? And that's the kind of conversation a less agreeable person would have. And he actually cited a study and delved deep into many of the attributes of the study and precursors to certain conditions. And unquestionably, the study led to showing that people who did better in their careers were typically less agreeable, and that men as a whole tend to be less agreeable. So I mean, before even going into anything else, I mean, there's part of the pay gap right there. And you can say, and women can say, well, you know, that's not fair because, you know, men have an advantage. It's like, okay, well, so what? You know, how about you stop being less agreeable? How about you adapt and change? That's what we do. And Dr. Jordan Peterson also pointed out that there is a particular, what was it? He's got a, let's take this exit here. He would know who the more agreeable clients were and who the more less agreeable clients were, because the more agreeable clients were likely to bring him a coffee, come in with a coffee and bring him on as well. Whereas the less agreeable clients would maybe rock up with a drink for themselves, and that was it. Not necessarily bring him one. And this is, oh, damn, it's some bright ass sun. Sorry guys, you're gonna have to go with me half-faced here. And I thought to myself, you know, apply that back to the context of relationships, whether it be with friends, whether it be with family, whether it be in the workplace, or whether it be romantic relationships. And think about a time in your life when you've actually given a hell of a lot to somebody, and you haven't gotten a hell of a lot back in return. It tends to be because people don't really have a huge amount of respect for people who are too agreeable. Because when you're too agreeable, you're too predictable. And when you're too predictable, you're boring. And when you're boring, people aren't excited by you, which means that they're far less likely to want to be around you. So when you think about that for a second, are any of you guys agreeable? Like, overly so? Where you're always trying to accommodate for other people? You gotta stop that, guys. You gotta stop being so agreeable. It's not serving you. It's not getting you anywhere. Man, this sun is crazy. I just want that to be a point of reflection for you. Because if you don't make that a point of reflection and you're constantly giving to others to your own detriment. I talk about this a lot, to never give to others to your own detriment. If you're constantly giving to others to your own detriment as a result of being too agreeable, maybe you just need to stop being so agreeable all the time. I actually went to my dentist yesterday. Feeling pretty good about teeth feel so much better. Went to my dentist yesterday and he said, "Oh, I remember you." And I was like, "Oh wow, it's cool, right?" Like I haven't been there for a year and a half and he remembered me straight off the bat, and it was actually my first time to that particular dentist. And they were really good, which is why I returned. And I said, "Yeah, it's been a fair while, you know, that I've had a marriage breakup in that time, and I've had all of these different things happen to me. Well, not so much happen, but have happened in the course of my life as a result of choices that I've made, and as a result of things that other people have done that I've chosen to be around." And he said, "Oh, well, yeah, I just, I went from 39 to 40. He goes, and I just went through a really rough patch, went through a bit of depression. And it turns out he's been carrying the weight of his family on his shoulders. It's his business. He's sitting at the same desk every day for 8 hours for the last 10, 15, 20 years, providing for the same family, getting the same level of appreciation, and sometimes not even that. He's doing everything that I would call a good man would do. And a good man doesn't have to be someone that walks over, but he's got some of the attributes that I would consider to be a noble person, a good man, a decent, hard-working gentleman. He's a good guy, but he's too damn agreeable. And even he said to me that when people say that they'll call him back, like I said to him, "Look, I'm going to see if I can get you in touch with someone who can teach you NLP. And I'm also going to give you a call back and tell you what I can do for you in terms of coaching." Because he actually asked me, how is it you've been able to remain so positive through all that? And I told him about my personal development journey. And I told him about the discovery of myself. And he's like, "Oh, well, I'd really love some help." So I'm going to give him some help. And I told him that I'd give him a call on Friday. And he goes, "Oh, no, it's okay. Just I know you're busy whenever you got time." And I said, No. I said, I'm going to give you a call on Friday. I'm a man of my word. Whether I have an outcome for you on Friday or not is a different story. But I'll still give you a call on Friday because I said I would. And he goes, "Oh, yeah, but you really don't have to." And I was like, wow, this guy's like so super agreeable that he actually doesn't even care about himself. And that's sad, it's a pity. I want him to be able to care about himself. And I said, "Look, you don't need to take my promise to you on your shoulders as something you need to hold me accountable for." Like, that's my problem. If I don't call you by Friday, then you're going to know I'm not a man of my word. You're going to know that I don't do what I say I'm going to do. Now I'm going to get back to the whole point of this video, which is attractiveness. And by the way, that thing that I told my dentist helped him a lot. You just see his face light up. So it's been found that less agreeable people are more attractive to the opposite sex, Because remember how I said boring before? Right? It gets boring if you're always agreeing on the same shit. It's like, well, it does get boring. People don't want to hear the same agreement all the time. People want a bit of variety. And when you are too agreeable, there's no variety. It's just the same thing every time, and it's just always, oh yes, okay, yes, 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 just yeses left, right, and center. And that's not what's attractive to men or women, right? Look at all the guys who date women that are constantly disagreeable. It's not in their best interest, but they do it. And look at all the women that constantly date guys that say no, right? They date the bad boy, the guy who doesn't care. You know, the guy who doesn't give a shit. And they're constantly running after him. You know what I'm saying? So, look, the top 10% of the population are not just gonna roll over like a puppy dog and say, oh, okay. They're gonna say no. They're gonna say, I'm gonna be better. Because right now, I'm not saying yes to who I am because I know there's room for improvement. Right? They're constantly evolving, they're constantly changing, they're constantly pushing. The people that say no are constantly pushing to see how far they can push. Right? And that's, you know, and whether you like the terminology or not, a lot of people say that very successful women in business are bitches, right? But they're just not agreeable people, and it serves their career well. Right? Just like in the Kathy Newman versus Jordan Peterson video, he noted that she wasn't agreeable and it served her career well. And the invisible guys, the guys that don't get seen by women, right? It's not because there's some magical force that says that they're just not attractive. Right? They might not be attractive to women in their current state. Everyone has the ability to become attractive somehow. Everyone has that ability. And one of the ways that you can do that is to start reflecting on yourself and looking at how they can improve, looking at how they can change, looking at how they can adapt, looking at how they can earn more income, as Mad Shangi said. Look at how they can do all of these things to improve themselves to a point where a woman actually goes, wow, this guy is different, you know? He doesn't just agree with everything I says. He's got his own shit on lockdown, right? And a lot of us guys that have gone MGTOW, like me, I've seen a huge difference. Huge difference. Right? And MGTOW Investor says women look at unattractive men just like we look at fat chicks. Exactly. Exactly. And if you don't have charisma, if you don't have charm, you can develop these things. You know, some people have naturally got it. Some people don't naturally have it. If you don't naturally have it, you work on it. Just like if you don't naturally have a great physique, guess what you do? You work on your nutrition. You work on your strength. You work on your fitness. You work on your mindset. You work on all of these things that make you more attractive to other people. Right? And don't just work on yourself to be attractive to women. You will actually attract the company of the kind of men that you want to associate with by exercising these traits. Right? And that's just how it works, you know. And even married women will come after you when it gets like this. So, guys, I think that the difference between the visible men and the invisible men is largely mindset and effort. And anyone that wants to change bad enough can change, bar maybe like the tiny, out of the entire population, maybe it's like a fraction of people who are like born super ugly or really badly crippled or stuff like that, you know. And it's terrible, but unfortunately nature isn't kind sometimes. Now guys, it's 7:58. I've got work at 8. I gotta bounce, but I just wanted to share that with you and you know, keep my promise to my sub. Well, I didn't actually make a promise, but he did put a message in there, and you know, asked me if I could do a video on this, so doing a video on it. Anyway, man, Dave Dog, Uncle Baldy, Sishu, MGTOW Investor, I got Mad Shangy in here, AP, I've got Brizzy Boy, appreciate you, Brizzy Boy. Trifol, absolutely, too agreeable will only make you a people pleaser through life. Don't be a people pleaser. And my man Bullets, Omega W, Yon Veshore. Thank you so much for joining in, man. Deuterium X, Mr. Aussie Accent, and all the people I mentioned before. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for joining in. Smash that like button. If you're not already a subscriber, hit the subscribe button below. Hit the bell. Check out my Instagram and mine's accounts. If you want to go check out my Patreon and PayPal, got the links below as well. Appreciate you all. Big love. Thank you, Jayapathy. And I'll see you next time. Peace.